Well, welcome to the shop today. Today I want to talk briefly on a very important subject, and this is a perfect example. Okay, so when I tell you guys you get an air rifle in, you buy one, even if it's a used one, clean the bore and do a pellet to bore test. Okay, that way if you find out that the bore doesn't fit the pellet and the pellet just drops through most of the time, then you can send it back and get your money back or get another one. Now, we have two guns here for a beautiful example of what we're talking about. We have two Hatsan 130Ss that came in, okay? So the 130Ss are 30 cal. And you got to excuse me, it's kind of early in the morning. I got to get this clip done because I got to send one gun back. Meanwhile, I tell you guys all the time to clean the bore. But on these guns, they have the QE barrel with all the baffles and stuff in there. And it really would be a pain if you're just trying to figure out if your gun has a proper pellet to bore fit. And the barrel length is only 10.5 inches to boot. So I would say, since it has the QE shroud, just leave it there if you got one of these guns or any QE gun and do a pellet to bore fit. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now, these guns basically had been set up with a 10 for 10. Here's the test certificates. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's what it says on that one. Can you read that? It says the following gun was tested and passed by our gunsmith. Boy, doesn't that sound and look good? And it even says test certificate. But if you actually read the checkoff list, it doesn't mention anything about the pellet to bore fit on the barrel. And it doesn't show a target that they shot the target. And most likely it's only going to be 10 yards anyway. At the very best, it could have been 12. But they don't show that. They didn't come with the guns. I don't know what happened there. But meanwhile, let's read this here. It says here for your gun that was tested and your certificate, it says 10 shots fired over the chronograph. Chronograph tape enclosed. That's the readout for what the 10 shots read feet per second wise and all that stuff. Cocked reliably for all shots, and check. Trigger functions correctly for all shots. There you go, buddy. Have a great day. See ya. Okay, now, this is for the so-called gunsmith. I think it's a bunch of hot air. I don't know about you. But meanwhile, nobody's checking pellet to bore fit, the most crucial thing on an air gun. Now, before I get into this, I got to explain to you why this is so important. And why is it in 2024, nobody's checking pellet to bore fits on air guns? Well, let's talk about that real quick. Now, you got a gun like this 130S is very powerful, right? One of the most powerful guns out there. Same thing with the Hatsan 135. They're both the same. But at any rate, we got a 30 cal here, and to date, a air rifle with the swept biome and the shot cycle when it's fired and all that's going on in the air chamber relies on a proper pellet to bore fit and barrel. Now, as soon as you get into the bigger powered guns, it also relies on the size of the bore to help smooth everything out. So a gun is powerful. The bore size of 22 would be the least you want to go. Okay? If you go down to 177, it's choking everything up. The gun's not going to be the way it should be if it was optimized. Now, 22 is okay, but 25 is a lot better, and 30 is premium, okay? A gun this powerful and a shot cycle of a 30 or 25 cal, you got everything that the thing could possibly need. But now you get down to the barrel. Here's the nitty-gritty of everything. The shot cycle depends on the pellet to bore fit and also the length of the barrel for that power of gun. Now, if you have a 10.5-inch barrel with a light pellet to bore fit, you're in some gray area there. You almost might as well have nothing. But something's better than nothing, okay? So basically, a 10.5-inch barrel with a light pellet to bore fit may be a little bit better if the barrel was longer. So you see what I'm saying? The barrel and the pellet to bore fit works with the shot cycle and the size of the caliber to make it all come together. Now, as soon as you take away from that, you're going to have a gun that's powerful and it's going to create the recoil. Now, the recoil, in case you don't understand, basically blows your scope. The recoil gives you bad groups. The recoil makes the shot feel horrible, right? But some guys, a lot of guys, shoot these things, they feel like cannons and they think it's cool and great and they don't know anything otherwise. But I can tell you, a lot of these guys, they're this close to blow in a scope. So air guns, in case anybody wants to know, rely on the pellet to bore fit, size of the bore, and the length of the barrel for that power of gun for everything to come together. Why is it the people that sell these guns don't even care about the pellet to bore? They'll do a 10-meter test, big deal, right? Who's checking the pellet to bore fit, and how complicated is it in the year 2024? Now let's take a look. I want to show you what it looks like, and you can do it too. So if you get a gun with a bad barrel, you can send it back. Somebody has to do something around here. Now I will say with these 30 cals, 44.75 grain is what you want to use, because the heavier ones, and this is what we got, the heavier ones basically can be bigger, and then they're going to maybe fit the bore better. But you don't want to have to rely on a heavier pellet just to maybe hopefully fit the bore. So you start out with the typical 44.75 grain to test these 30 cals out. Now, I have two guns here, and this is what it looks like. So remember, you got the QE shroud, and because it has the baffles, just X-nay on the cleaning the barrel A, and then do a light pellet to bore test, and this is what it looks like, and this is how simple it is. And if the air gun companies did it, they would save themselves money. Now, let's take a quick look. Right, here's what it looks like. I got the rifle. I got a little tool to put the pellet in the bore, just inside the bore, because it makes it easier once it's in the bore, down in there a little bit. And I've got our pellets that we talked about, and I have a simple skinny rod that the ends are nice and smoothed over, so nothing's going to get hurt, but it's going to become the feeler gauge and the tool to show you what's going on with your gun. Now, it's got a QE shroud and baffle, so sometimes the rod, if it drops like it's going to, can jam up the pellet in here, so you got to shake it, move the rod around to get the pellet out, but make sure the pellet's out when you're done. So here's what it looks like. This is how complicated this is. The only thing is, it's basically your gas ram's going to be hefty. So, are you ready? Let me get one of the pellets ready. Put it over here. Get my little tool. You smack the barrel open, right? Now, because it's gas ram, pull it back so you have the leverage on it. Don't have it out here. Pull it back. Be careful now. You don't want to get hurt. See? And you get it in there. Now, once you bring the barrel back, it's easy peasy. It's all downhill. Do not cock the gun, okay? Or else you're asking for trouble. So, pellet's already started in the bore. Here's our rod. The barrel is on some type of 45 degree. Now we're going to commence to seeing what it feels like as it's going through the bore. Very lightly start to push the rod through. Don't force anything. You want to feel what the pellet's coming up against. So far, the pellet's not coming up against anything. Now, to be fair, do it at least 3 times, or maybe 4. Now I have a restriction. I can feel it. So I lightly push until it starts to move. And I'm feeling what the restriction feels like. Now I'm past the restriction. And there it is. There's your brand new gun, 30 cal, all this power, no pellet to bore fit. So you can do it again. We'll do it again. I'm going to pick up the pellet and the rod. We'll put the pellet over here. And we'll do it one more time. Air gun companies, pay attention. Where are you in 2024? What's going on out there? What's it going to take for the airgun world to step up to the bat and play the game the way the game's supposed to be played and knock off this stuff? Here we go. We got the gun. Break it open. Pull it back, right? Make sure the leverage is favoring you. And be careful. Get the pellet in there and slightly push it down. There. Now it's easy peasy. Get the rod, go down here like that, get it in the back of the skirt, and slowly push it through. There you go. I don't care what the test shot group on the paper at 10 meters is going to look like. Let me make sure the pellet came out of there. Yep, there it is there. It just fell. But with a barrel like that, your recoil is going to go through the roof. You're going to be blowing scopes, and you're not going to be a happy camper. All right, I think I made that perfectly clear. We got a perfect example of why you should check the bore. And if your gun doesn't have a good pellet to bore fit, send it back. Now, don't forget what I said. Most of these guns are coming out with a very light pellet to bore fit. So you're right on the edge with a 10.5-inch barrel. You're right on the edge of blowing a scope. And the recoil is more than it needs to be because of the way the gun was made. Now, with that said, I'm not trying to bash anybody here. As far as Pyramid Air is concerned, we all love Pyramid Air. They're great to deal with. They got a gun coming to me as soon as I return this one. I have the return shipping label. It's not about bashing. It's about trying to wake up the air gun community to step up and wake up and stop the nonsense. All right, I got my rant out. Take care and have a great day. Oh, I almost forgot. Hey, we're not bashing anybody here. We are trying to bring to light in the year 2024 the stuff that goes on. We're trying to protect the buyers because we're the ones that have to deal with this mess. And we're trying to save the air gun companies some money here, okay? Now, if you have a gun that's powerful, a 10-shot group, 5-shot group, a 10 yards means nothing to me if I don't have a proper pellet to bore fit and my gun has extra recoil and it's harsh and it's going to blow my scope. So don't send a nice new gun with a certificate that comes out like that. That is costing you money and costing the customer to have a bad deal on his end. Not bashing Pyramid Air, I'm just trying to help Pyramid Air, and I'm trying to bring in the air gun community up to where it needs to be. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the Virock guns are all have the choke at the end of the barrel because those barrels are going to be plus or minus here and there. Either they're going to have a good pellet to bore fit, or in the middle of the barrel, typically they're going to have it open up and not have pellet to bore fit, or they're going to have a light pellet to bore fit. They all come out different ways, but they choke their barrels, and that's what saves them at the end of the day. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with here, and your little 10-shot group or 5-shot group and your little 4 check-off list means absolutely nothing. The guy's going to get a gun, his scope's going to get blown, the gun's not going to be smooth, it's not even going to shoot properly, and he may not even realize it. But don't stand behind a gun and do work like that. That is a disgrace. So, save yourself some money, start doing a pellet to bore test, and deal with the customers properly and the gun. And if the gun ain't right, you can send it back to the manufacturer. That's what your end's supposed to be doing, instead of us having to send it back to you. With that, we're not bashing Pyramid Air. We love them. We already have a return slip. We're going to have another gun up here, and that's just the way it is.